Presented by the Lexicanum, this is the history of the planet known as Armageddon. Armageddon is a hive world of the Imperium. It is the fourth planet of the Armageddon system. Armageddon has been the site of some of the largest wars in the Imperium's history. Unknown to the greater Imperium at large, Armageddon was in fact originally the world Ullanor, made famous by the Ullanor Crusade during the time of the Emperor. 1500 years after the Horus Heresy, during the War of the Beast, Ullanor became the capital world of the Beast and was thought destroyed by the Mechanicum. In truth, the Mechanicum simply teleported Ullanor into the Armageddon system. The First War for Armageddon is perhaps the least known, and probably for good reason. In 444, Millennium 41, cultists worshipping the chaos god Khorne broke out in rebellion during a warp storm. Soon, a great space hulk, the Devourer of Stars, appeared over the planet, containing none other than Angron, the demon prince of the World Eaters. The demonic legions quickly pushed the defenders back in an orgy of bloodshed until help arrived in the form of the Space Wolves and Grey Knights. With the wolves bolstering the defenses, the Grey Knights teleported into the center of the demonic horde. The Grey Knights eventually banished Angron and his armies from the material world, leaving the cultists to be crushed by the Imperial counterattack. Victory was imminent, but one final tragedy was to strike the planet. In order to preserve the secret of the Daemon Primarch and the Grey Knights, the entire population of Armageddon, as well as the surviving soldiers, were rounded up, sterilized, and sentenced to work camps for the rest of their lives while a new population was brought to resettle the planet. Despite these cautions, several thousand guardsmen managed to slip through the containment action, forcing the Inquisition to take more drastic measures in order to preserve the secrets of the demons and the Grey Knights. Many Imperial Guard troop ships were destroyed as they departed the Grey Knight strike cruisers, and in the Tremaine sector, 3 entire worlds were put to the sword to ensure the silence of a single company of stormtroopers who had fought at Hive Hellsreach alongside the Grey Knights. Logan Grimnar, the Great Wolf of the Space Wolves, has never forgiven the Inquisition for carrying out such a betrayal of the men and women who fought for their world. The Second War for Armageddon featured a huge force of orcs in 941 Millennia 41, led by the mighty warboss Ghazghkull Mag Uruk Thraka. The overlord of the planet, Hermann von Straub, was completely unprepared for the attack, and his own pride and incompetence only made matters worse. Eventually, the defense of the planet was taken over by Commander Dante of the Blood Angels. The forces involved were the Salamanders, Blood Angels, Ultramarines, Imperial Guard, and Squats. During the war, an Imperial commissar named Yarrick, who had been exiled by von Straub to Hive Hades, led a heroic defense of the Hive that eventually distracted Ghazghkull from the planetary battles. This infuriated him enough to send more and more forces against Hive Hades. The battle escalated to such proportions that Ghazghkull considered the fight a matter of personal pride and took command of the forces assaulting Hades himself. Although the Hive eventually fell, the distraction gave the Imperial forces enough time to mount a counterattack that finally broke the back of the Orc invasion. Yarrick survived and would clash with Ghazghkull again. Von Straub escaped from his jailers, and the Orcs were forced away, humiliated in their defeat. They would have to return to avenge their failures. The Third War for Armageddon occurred 50 years after the Second War. Ghazghkull Thraka returned, leading a second warg, smashing into the Armageddon sector. Commissar Yarrick and many of the heroes who fought for the planet before were called into battle once again. Although the Third Armageddon War has seen the Imperium retain its holdings on the world, fighting still continues on the planet. Ghazghkull has left the planet and continues to plague neighboring Imperial worlds. He is being pursued by Yarrick, with a full Black Templars crusade at his back. The Orcs have come to regard Armageddon as a kind of Valhalla, where they can always come to find a good fight. And the Imperium must send more troops to battle to keep the planet in Imperial hands, while Orc reinforcements continue to flood in. This has been the history of the planet known as Armageddon, presented by the Lexicanum. Thank you for listening.